If you're still driving one of these 8 cars, you need to hear what I'm about to say. Not because your car is about to break down, not because it's killing you at the pump, but because right now, while you're watching this, that car is losing value in a way that nobody at the dealership is ever going to volunteer to tell you. And when you finally walk into that showroom to trade it in, the number they put in front of you is not going to be the number you had in your head. It's going to be lower, a lot lower. This isn't the normal depreciation that hits every car. These are the ones that drop differently, and dealers know it. You just don't yet. Let's get into the list. This isn't a normal depreciation story. Every car loses value. Everybody knows that. You drive it off the lot, it drops. That's just how it works. But what's happening to these 8 cars is a different animal entirely. We're not talking about the standard first-year drop. We're talking about trade-in values that have fallen off a cliff, and for reasons that have nothing to do with how well you took care of the car. Here's the pattern I keep seeing. Manufacturers rushed products to market before they were ready. New engines that hadn't been properly tested. Electrical platforms with known bugs. And then the same brands turned around and started dumping massive discounts on their new inventory, which torched the resale value of every existing owner overnight. You didn't do anything wrong. You just bought at the wrong time, in the wrong market cycle, and now the dealer holds all the cards. When you walk into trade, number 8, Nissan Altima. In 2024, the average trade-in value on a Nissan Altima came in around $14,500. Owners who bought new in 2021 or 2022 have lost close to 38% of what they paid on a car that stickered around $26,000. That's roughly $10,000 gone in under 3 years. Here's what happened to the Altima. Nissan has been bleeding market share in the sedan segment for years. And instead of fixing the product, they tried to fix the problem with fleet sales, rental companies, corporate fleets. Thousands of Altimas dumped into the used market at the same time, all fighting for the same buyers. When you flood the used market like that, private owners pay the price. Your trade-in is now competing against a 2-year-old rental car with 40,000 miles on it, and the dealer can get that one cheaper than yours. Add to that the fact that the Altima has always lived in the shadow of the Camry and the Accord. Buyers who want a reliable midsize sedan already have their answer, and it isn't the Altima. So when you go to trade, the dealer knows exactly how long that car is going to sit on their lot before it moves, and that wait time gets baked directly into the number they offer you. Number 7, Chevrolet Malibu. The Malibu situation is almost painful to talk about because the ending was already written. In 2024, trade-in values on the Malibu averaged around $12,800. Owners who bought new are looking at a 41% drop. But here's the thing that really stings. GM announced the Malibu is being discontinued. Production ended, and in the car business, nothing destroys trade-in value faster than a manufacturer pulling the plug on a nameplate. The moment buyers hear a model is dead, 3 things happen immediately. Parts availability becomes a question mark. Dealer support dries up, and demand on the used market falls off because nobody wants to be the last person holding a car that the manufacturer walked away from. It's the same reason you don't see lines of people trying to buy used Pontiac G6s. Once the brand says goodbye, the market says goodbye too. On top of the discontinuation, the Malibu was already fighting an uphill battle. The interior never matched what Honda and Toyota were offering at the same price point. The infotainment system had complaints going back years, and the refinement just wasn't there. Owners knew it, buyers knew it, and now dealers know exactly what it's worth to them, which is not much. Number 6, Ford Explorer, 2020 through 2022. The third-generation Explorer relaunch was supposed to be Ford's big return to dominance in the 3-row SUV segment. And for a minute, it looked like it was going to work. But the 2020 through 2022 models came out of the gate with problems that Ford should have caught before the first village. One left the factory. Transmission issues, oil cooler leaks that were serious enough to warrant a federal investigation. Rear-wheel drive platform that caught a lot of existing Explorer buyers completely off guard after decades of front-wheel drive. The NHTSA complaints piled up fast. And once a model gets that kind of reputation, on forums, on Reddit, in Facebook groups, it spreads. Used buyers do their homework, and what they found on those model years scared them off. Trade-in values. on those specific years have dropped to an average of around $22,000 in 2024, which is a 36% collapse from original purchase price. The frustrating part for owners is that the later Explorers got better. Ford fixed a lot of the issues, but the stigma attached to those early production years dragged down the value of every Explorer. In that window, you might have a perfectly clean example with no problems. It doesn't matter. The model year on your paperwork is what the dealer's pricing tool sees first. Number 5, Jeep Cherokee Stellantis did to the Cherokee what they did to the Gladiator. They flooded their own market. Too much inventory, not enough real demand to absorb it, so the discounts started. We're talking $15,000, $18,000 off MSRP on brand new Cherokees sitting on lots. And the moment that happens, your used one becomes almost impossible to price competitively. Think about the math from a buyer's perspective. If a brand new 2024 Cherokee is sitting at the dealership for $27,000, after incentives, why would anyone pay $24,000 for your used 2022? They wouldn't, and dealers know they wouldn't. So your trade-in offer reflects that reality. Whether you're ready for it or not, average trade-in on a Cherokee in 2024 came in around $15,900. Owners are down roughly 40% from what they paid new. And the Cherokee has always had a specific problem that the Gladiator shares. It's a niche product that requires a niche buyer. The off-road capability is real, but most Cherokee owners never use it. The fuel economy is rough for a crossover in its class, and the interior quality has never matched what Hyundai or Kia is offering at the same price. When the economy tightens, buyers get practical fast, and practical buyers don't pick the Cherokee. Number 4, Hyundai Tucson, previous generation. The Hyundai story with the Tucson is a little different from the others on this list, and it's worth understanding why. Hyundai actually makes a good product now. The new generation Tucson is genuinely competitive. The problem for previous generation owners is that Hyundai made it too good too fast. The jump in quality between the old Tucson and the new one was so dramatic that used buyers stopped looking at the older models. Almost entirely, why buy a 2020 or 2021 Tucson when the 2023 looks like a completely different vehicle at a price that's not that much higher? Trade-in values on pre-refreshed Tucsons have dropped to an average of around $15,200, a 39% decline in under 3 years. And unlike some of the other cars on this list, it's not really a quality problem. The older Tucson isn't bad. It's just been completely outclassed by the newer version of itself. That's a tough position to be in as an owner because there's no scandal to point to, no recall to explain. Your car just became yesterday's news overnight. Add to that the well-documented Theta 2 engine issues that plagued earlier Hyundai and Kia products. Even though many Tucsons in this window didn't have that specific engine, the brand reputation for engine problems still affects buyer confidence on the used market. A cautious used buyer hears Hyundai and immediately does a search for engine recalls. That hesitation alone keeps offers low. Number 3, Kia Telluride, 2021 through 2022. This one is going to surprise people. The Telluride was the most hyped 3-row SUV of its generation. Car of the Year awards, waiting lists. People paying over sticker just to get one. And for a moment, the used market reflected all of that. Tellurides were actually selling for more used than new, which almost never happens. But that kind of artificial inflation always corrects. And when it corrects on a car that was overpriced to begin with, the drop is brutal. 2021 and 2022. Telluride owners who paid over MSRP are now looking at trade-in values, around $28,000 on a vehicle they may have paid $42,000 or $43,000 for at the peak. Do that math. That's $15,000 gone. And in some cases more. The Telluride didn't get worse. It's still a good vehicle. What happened is that supply caught up. The new model refresh arrived, and the market remembered that $30,000 buys a lot of 3-row SUV from a lot of different manufacturers. The premium evaporated. Owners who bought at the top of the hype cycle are now holding the bag. And if you go to trade one in today, the dealer isn't paying you for what you paid 2 years ago. They're paying you for what the market will bear today. Real quick, if this is hitting close to home, do me a favor and hit the like button. It takes 1 second and it helps us keep putting out content like this. All right, we've got 2 more. And number 1 is going to be the one that hurts the most. Let's keep going. Number 2, Toyota RAV4 Hybrid, 2021 through 2022. Putting a Toyota on this list feels like a betrayal, I know. Toyota has built their entire reputation on holding value. Camrys, Tacomas, 4Runners. These are the cars that used buyers pay a premium for specifically because they don't depreciate like everything else. So how did the RAV4 Hybrid end up here? Same story as the Telluride, but with a Toyota badge making it worse. The RAV4 Hybrid launched into a market with almost no inventory and enormous demand. Wait lists were months long. Dealers were marking them up 5,000, 8,000, sometimes 10,000 over sticker. And buyers paid it because they trusted the Toyota name and they wanted that hybrid powertrain. Then the chip shortage eased up. Toyota ramped production. Inventory came back. And suddenly, all those people who overpaid are sitting on vehicles that the market has repriced at a level that reflects actual supply and demand, not the artificial shortage premium they paid at the top. Average trade-in on a 2021 or 2022 RAV4 Hybrid is now running around $29,500 in many markets. Owners who paid $38,000, $39,000, or $40,000, which was common during that window, are looking at losses that would have seemed impossible. On a Toyota 2 years ago, the car is still good. The brand is still strong, but you can't out-Toyota an overpriced purchase, and a lot of owners are finding that out the hard way right now. Number 1, Honda CR-V Hybrid 2022 through 2023. The single worst trade-in situation on this entire list. And the reason it's number 1 isn't just the dollar amount, it's because this is the car that nobody saw coming. Honda CR-V, one of the best-selling vehicles in America for over 2 decades. A car with a reputation so solid that it became the default answer whenever someone asked what reliable small SUV they should buy. And then Honda introduced the hybrid version, and the market lost its mind. Demand was through the roof. Dealers were charging $5,000, sometimes $8,000 over sticker, and buyers paid it because it's a Honda CR-V, and Honda CR-Vs hold their value. That's just a fact. Except this time it wasn't. Average trade-in values on the 2022 and 2023 CR-V Hybrid have dropped to around $26,000 in 2024. Owners who bought new at the peak, many of whom paid $38,000, $39,000 or more after dealer markups, are sitting on losses of $12,000 to $14,000 on a Honda. In under 2 years, here's how this happened. Honda ramped up hybrid production faster than anyone expected. The inventory shortage that justified the markup disappeared almost overnight. And the moment supply normalized, the used market repriced immediately. There was no gradual adjustment. One quarter you're trying to find one. The next quarter they're sitting on lots with incentives. Buyers who had been waiting on the sidelines, and there were a lot of them, suddenly had options. And when buyers have options, they stop overpaying. But here's what makes the CR-V Hybrid the number 1 on this list. And it's not the numbers, it's the psychology. CR-V owners went in expecting the Toyota treatment. Buy it, keep it a few years, trade it in, barely take a hit. That's the deal Honda owners have had for 30 years. This was the first time in a generation that the deal didn't hold up. And when you walk into a dealership expecting $18,000 and they tell you 26, wait, that math doesn't even work in your favor. When you walk in expecting 32 and they hand you 26, the look on people's faces is something dealers talk about in the break room. That gap between expectation and reality is what makes this the most brutal trade-in situation on the market right now. Not the biggest percentage drop, not the most money lost in absolute terms, but the biggest betrayal of trust. Honda built that trust over decades. The market corrected it in about 18 months, and current owners are caught directly in the middle.